What promotes lifelong well-being? Welcome to the Friday Value video. And last week we talked about perfection and how that is kind of a slow death, but seeking excellence was the way to improve our life and continue in a beautiful way. So, what promotes lifelong well-being? Because I talked about that's the way. Seeking excellence helps you to achieve that. And I guess, you could ask yourself the question when you're older, or if you already are older, can you play hopscotch with the grandchildren? Does that matter to you? Not achieving perfection, but enjoying a life of excellence. A life of excellence. That's really what lifelong well-being is all about. I think it was about 2.5 years ago, I did a Friday Value video talking about what lifelong well-being means, at least from my perspective. So I want you to close your eyes right now, and I want you to imagine waking up free from pain and stiffness, restoring pain-free movement in a daily walk of life, reestablishing a healthy posture if yours has started to stoop, eliminating digestive disorders if you struggle with maybe some gas and bloating or maybe chronic constipation or other issues. Imagine reversing heart disease. Yes, there are experts on this planet who have done that for decades with their patients. Imagine becoming a former diabetic. Type 2 diabetes is reversible. Imagine beating cancer. I know many people who have. Imagine losing weight and keeping it off. No more yo-yo dieting up and down on the scale. Imagine having functional strength for real life as you age and keeping your independence, because no one ever wants to lose that. Imagine being well for your entire life. You're probably asking right now, how on earth do we do that? Well, I'm going to share this list of, there's 8 things on this list that are well known in the scientific community, in scientific data. This is not just opinions, that healthy amounts of these things really do promote a very healthy life. And so I'm going to talk about these, and hopefully you'll learn something that you didn't know before, or you're going to hear something reinforced that you knew, but you might have forgotten about, or maybe didn't realize, yeah, it is more important than you thought. So when it comes to water, it does lots of things. And you can see this list here. And this is just a tiny list. I could have made this list a lot longer. But I want you to notice a couple things here that you might have not been aware of. If you're well hydrated, your body will sustain or regulate a healthy body temperature. If you're dehydrated, how many older people do you know who are always saying they're cold? I can pretty much bet you they're dehydrated. And improves nutrient absorption. Did you realize that optimal absorption of the nutrition from your food requires you to be well hydrated? Now, this doesn't mean drinking a glass of water when you eat a meal, but it means if you are in any type of a dehydrated state, you may not be absorbing all the nutrition that your body needs from the food that you eat. And then it cushions your spinal cord and your brain, and it helps for lubricating those friction generating surfaces, your joints. So it's protective. Water does a lot of things. And if you're not drinking enough water, you may be familiar with a lot of these things on this list, but you might not be familiar with some of them. Yes, you can be constipated if you're not drinking enough water. You can retain water if you're not drinking enough water, because your body's holding on to whatever it can to keep you from dying from dehydration. It's doing its best. Yes, it will slow down fat metabolism, so it might be challenging for you to achieve a healthy weight. And this is a biggie, fatigue. I worked with a young woman in her 20s who came in one day and said that she had been battling chronic fatigue and thought something was wrong with her. She decided to start drinking more water, and her fatigue went away. She was in her 20s. So many of us are walking around, not maybe completely dehydrated, but partially dehydrated. And these things are impacting our health. But here's what I really want you to see. If you're not drinking enough water, you may be struggling to gain muscle. And so many people who are older tell me, I say older, 50s, 60s, they're afraid of losing muscle mass. And they're all nervous and they want to do all these different things. But are you drinking enough water? Because if you're not drinking enough water, that results in decreased blood flow to your muscles. You'll have reduced endurance. You'll have more fatigue. You'll have diminished returns for your efforts. And it only takes about a 2% fluid loss for these issues to happen. So we are mostly water. But I wanted you to see this. The average person's water weight for males about 60%, women about 50%, and obese people 40% because fat tissue has no water content in it. However, I want you to see this about athletes, 70% water on average, because well-hydrated muscles are 75% water. Yeah, water. So get hydrated so you can have lifelong well-being. I will see you next week.